Welcome back, Nick. This Comic Corner Classics as known classics. This is episode 1193 and double shot number 1087. Alright, I have two Marvel trades. Well, digitally, of course. First up, it's from the Black Panther. And this is the most recent trade they released for the thing. I haven't seen it. There might be I don't think there's another one on there that might be never released. I don't know, but this is the most recent one this app has. This is Black Panther Volume 8, The Intergalactic Empire Wakanda Book Part 3. Let's collect issues 13 18 of Black Panther Volume 7. Still have the same rare Ta-Nehisi coats, with Daniel Kuna on the artwork for most of these issues except for the last one. He did issues 13 and 17. Chris Spruce does issue 18. Now this one here is simply put, Black Panther has finally arrived home. Yes, after being in space for quite a while, he is reunited with his wife Storm. Though for actually his ex-wife Storm. Though for some reason I'm not sure why this is. Apparently Akuna tends to draw Storm to look a little older than she actually appears. I mean, Storm is supposed to be a woman, presumably in her, I'd say, late 20s, early 30s. Here, she looks like she's pushing 50. Yeah, that's the way Daniel Kuna draws. At least T'Challa looks fine. I have no problem how he draws T'Challa. It's Storm I have a problem with how he draws. Now, I like Daniel Kuna's artwork. I think his artwork is really good. It's just I'm not really a big fan of how he draws Storm. He makes look older. I mean, he must see the white hair must be like older lady than she actually appears. But the thing is, a lot of Marvel characters, they have like one or two, they don't list their age. Storm, if you look at her, she's presumably in her early 30s. Or it could be a bit younger, I'm not really sure. But she clearly is not supposed to be 50. Or even 60 for crying out loud. They do a flashback in here of basically how Black Panther got back he's looking at various star charts. Eventually he's starting to remember who he is. Though there's something really cool happens in here. We have a really interesting scene. We have Storm talking to Shara. Black Panther's at least she looks appropriate age. Yes, Shara looks fine. Yes, Shara's face looks perfectly fine. She does look older than she's supposed to be. Yeah, I'm looking at Storm's shirt that she's wearing. I mean, I thought basically that Kuna probably drew her to look like she put on some weight. Like a little bit. Nope, it's just her shirt being wrinkled. Yeah. So eventually we have T'Challa and his comrade basically fighting over the fact that he not remember anything. Oh, that is until he remembers, he remembers his mother, sister, and his beautiful ex-wife. Which they finally reunite. It took over a year for this to happen. And apparently he's finally gone to basically contact with Earth to figure out he's actually fine. His mother, oh my gosh, it's like, wow, what the heck, Kuna? I mean, the thing with T'Challa's mother, she's presumably, I'd say, early 50s. My gosh, Akuna, you aged up way too much. Now she looks like she's in her frickin' 70s. Why the heck would you do this for? Yeah, this makes no frickin' sense. Yeah, in this issue, Storm looks a little better. Better she did in issue, this is 14. 13, she looked older. This, she looks appropriate age. Yes. Maybe someone more may have told Akuna, hey, Storm doesn't look like that. Could you de-age her a little bit, make her look appropriate age? I guess they were like, okay, so now she's appropriate age. Of course, it's a space battle. And of course, he's on his way back to Earth. And you see this man in the Jaguar suit. Who is this guy? Well, I'll reveal that soon. Of course, the ship goes explodes. 15, he's finally home. Yep, he finally is. I think he's right. Finally at Earth. You see a flashback when he fought Claw. When he first became the Black Panther. It's great though the fact that he's fixing on Earth now, after spending a little over a year in space. And we see him reunite with Storm. Storm wearing her current attire in the comic books. Yes. Thank you, Akuna, for basically drawing her when you see her in X-Men costume. This is pretty much her current attire, from what I can tell. Though this is presumably from the... Let's see. From the look of it, it looks like it's... Yeah, it looks like the current attire, so... And then, like, right after they reunite with each other, they have sex. No joke, they have sex. How? Storm's naked. Yep. I'm like, wow. T'Challa reunites with his beautiful ex-wife, a woman he should have never ended the marriage to, and they're in bed together, which is great. This is one marriage I think a lot of people were pretty upset with Marvel when they ended it. At least they didn't do something stupid like they did with Spider-Man and Jane. Oh no. Because the thing is, she joined the X-Men against the Avengers because of having AVX. He ended the marriage because of that. And my guess is the writers since then are writing basically people like Hickman, this writer, admits though, yeah, that was a dumb idea to do because these two are a great couple. Why split them? Yes, so he talks to Mindfold, and of course, Storm's basically back in his life. Now, I don't know if they're gonna get back getting married, and I don't know. We see Oki, the leader of the Dodge and Marie, he basically his bodyguards. First time she's appeared in this volume, and first time she's appeared in this run since before the relaunch of the book. And then we see that the creature has arrived at Earth. Who is this guy? They finally unveil who this guy is. Who is he? Well, he's a guy who apparently is supposed to be dead. Yeah, he got killed off during the Christopher Priest run. But he wasn't absent for the next several runs. And they pretty much show that, oh yeah, some people will basically fall with him to Earth. As much so with the Black Panther, Space Battle, Storm getting the action, which is quite nice. Now, who is the guy under the mask? Under the Jaguar mask? Why? Well, also, they have said this woman who's apparently was in a relationship with T'Challa, but it's over. Storm doesn't believe that the relationship is over. This is what I think it really is. This is a brief image of the X-Men. Yeah. Let's see. Well, who is underneath the mask? Who is the Jaguar? We see one of the four members of the. Yeah, this is the character created by, well, the writer of the book appeared in the World Wakanda series. She's a minor Black Panther villain. Now, who is under the mask? Well, it's Eric Killmonger. Yep. Well, it's kind of a really big surprise because Marvel resurrected the character in his own miniseries, where apparently he fought Bullseye for some reason. Yep. And of course, you have this wonderful issue, or the last issue here, where he looks like stuff from his past, like Manet, Namor. Of course, they changed the art from Akuna to the other artist in the book. Lots of chatting, yeah, lots and lots of talking in here. And basically ends with Black Panther. Looks like he's going to take down the Empire of Wakanda. Good book. I appreciate the finally wrap up the story of him being in space because, well, it's about time for him to come home. Yep. I give the book roughly a 9 out of 10. Yep. Now moving on to Thor, Volume 2, Road to War of the Realms. Now you're probably thinking, you own a physical copy. Why are you getting this here? Because it's better than actually getting a physical copy. It's cheaper. And I had nothing against buying Jason Aaron's, but I only got that book mainly because the fact that and I was saving it after I finished up the Jane Foster run. So, Road to War of the Realms, written by Jason Aaron. Yeah, this is actually the Pendulum Betrayal that collects issues that collect the issues toward the end of his run for the book. Now, these issues have got 3 different artists on them. Yeah, this is issue 7 through 11. 7 is done by Tony Moore. One of the artists, he was the original artist for the Walking Dead series. Mike Del Mundo, who was been an artist for this run for most of it. Yeah, almost this entire relaunch of Thor that came after the Jane Foster for Marvel Fresh Start. Yeah, he was the original. He was basically the main artist of most of this run. Yeah, he did issues 8 through 10. Lee Gerber did issue 11. 7 is kind of a flashback story of basically Thor when he's younger. Of course, Odin's got these antlers, which is so funny. The fact he's got this. And him in Loki basically kind of manipulates the fact that he falls in love with a Valkyrie woman. Not Valkyrie, a female Viking who's very strong. And they make out, and then the next time we see him, they're just basically just having their own time. And of course, she's got a scar on her face, though Thor does have a problem with it. Though she's a beautiful woman. Oh yeah, and Thor had sex with her. Of course he did. Yeah, and then after Thor returned, after 40 years, she passed away. Yep, and then, apparently thought that one woman just basically Odin, Loki, trying to trick Thor, thinking that Midgard is a bad place, even though it really isn't. Now, issues 8 through 10, 8 is simply Thor team up with his smoking hot sister Angela. Yep, Angela's in the book. And this also features Jane Foster having a plot through with her, too. We also have stuff going on with Black Panther and Iron Man in the Avengers Mountain. Which, I'm not surprised that this particular place makes appearance in Thor book, in the Thor series, because, 1, Jason read both books, so it makes perfect sense. And the fact that he references to they may reference to the first arc of basically of the Avengers run and Infinity Wars, the Gary Duggan book. Excuse me. You have Odin forging a new hammer for Thor. You have Thor being hauled off by angels with Angela. I wonder where his hammer is. So he asks the question, is he worthy? And she later answers the question, I'm not worthy of telling you the answer. And then we cut to a scene in the Bronx where we see Jane Foster with Freya and Roz Solomon. Yes, Roz Solomon. More on her in a bit. Just more Thor, and then all of a sudden we have Black Panther Orc Jeb recruiting Roz Solomon to join the Ages of Wakanda. And then the very next issue is just Dara Agner, a character who Jason Aaron created, aka the frickin' Minotaur. And there's a ton of dialogue this page. Oh my gosh. The guy chats like frickin' crazy. And we have Roz Solomon we have pretty much her as Age of S.H.I.E.L.D., where she wears this outfit. Yep. And then we have her basically being debriefed and showing her various stuff, basically being part of Age of Wakanda. And ages are Kazar, Gorilla Man. There's 7 people. Now, this group did get their ongoing series, which ended after just 8 issues. Don't know why, but they were a great group of characters. That series was fantastic. That Marvel should not have ended the series, but they did. She'll have a new suit, a brand new flying car to replace the car that she had where she worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., which, flying car, why? I'm thinking, what happened to her car that she had? Oh, probably because it's S.H.I.E.L.D. property. She can't keep it anymore. And she had her basically undercover, and then she just come across a frost giant. We have her calling Jane Foster, and then we have her basically fighting a frost giant, and then we have her basically at Avengers Mountain where she's walking past and just happened to come across Thor's room. Maybe she's gonna go talk to him. And then She-Hulk shows up. Says, "Oh yeah, it's training time." Basically, She-Hulk and Thor having sex, and Roz being upset by it. Why? Because the thing is, Jason Aaron because she's a crazy Jason Aaron. It's been very heavily implied that she's in love with Thor. She's never stated it, but she is in love with Thor. I personally don't have a problem with it at all because it would seem like a more interesting idea than Thor and frickin' She-Hulk, which that was a bizarre relationship to happen to have. Yes. So she goes to her training. Of course, she finds the Frost Giant, and then somehow she teleports the guy right to frickin' Iran, where it's hot, and it melts the Frost Giant. Yep, it melts him. And then we have Thor show up and of course, Ross telling him Malekith's built his own Bifrost. Moved between the realms. And the name of God's Lady Solomon, you killed a Frost Giant. The Earth killed him. All I did was watch. I did shoot the troll. You probably can still get him a doctor to you. Get him to a doctor, up to you. What's my dead troll in my dreams? Rosalind, what happened to you? I got really good at my job. Just in time, too. The Water Realms is coming here, Thor. Right at our doorstep. Hope we're ready. All that training. I'll see you in the sky, Scout Thunder. And apparently she says to bring to the Mentor's room. It's like she's about to shoot him. And then Yoke shows up. Decides not to shoot him. It's like, what I think it was? What did he thought? Ross Solomon, the Troll Slayer Braxton. Yeah, apparently he's on house arrest. And he's able to leave no problem. And then we cut to a scene. They meet up with the God of Fear God of Fear is actually undercover here. And then we have, Odin and old Asgard. Well, the reason why the place is abandoned because no Asgardian trusts him anymore. Yeah, they hate his guts because all the bullcrap he's done. So, where is all the Asgardians gone? They'll live in New York City. Yep. Though Thor lives in a boat. Yep, he lives in the boat. Though it doesn't really appear in these issues. Nope. We have Thor basically just talking to his father, getting into a brief fight with him. And we have Loki talking to a frost giant. Really cool scene. We have a flashback of basically Thor picking up the actual Mjolnir he would know for carrying. Like, I thought I finally did it. I finally worthy. Huh? Where'd you find that little thing? And of course, they have fight. Like, I keep breaking hammers. So I think he's the All-Father. And then he basically just hits him in the head. Doesn't kill him. There's a story something about his boulder. What does his father be? Father. Call him your father if you wish. He is nothing to me. Yep, apparently, yeah, and Boulder debriefs Freya what happened. That he was about to kill him, but look how he stopped him. Yep, and then issue 11 is just, Thor basically meeting with his mother. Yeah, with their hammer, which they all start flying. It's basically Thor spending a day with his stepmom. And then we cut to seeing, what looks like to be King Thor with his 3 beautiful granddaughters. And then we cut to present day where one of the Warriors 3, Volstagg, I think his name is, the big guy. He finally gets out of his coma, and he's there with his wife. Though Jane Foster's able to sedate him, and Jane Foster gets basically a diagnosis from her doctor. Her cancer is gone. She's in remission. Hooray! And then we have a skirmish between Lady Sif and Valkyrie. Brynhilde. And then we see Boulder with his mother. And of course, Loki is at his place. Thinks about his adopted mother. And then we see Malekith, the main villain of Water Realms, like, time to raid Asgard. Time to war. And then the book ends with Thor flying past the sun. Looks like a tree is growing out of the sun. Yeah, that leads to something big that happens in the events of War of the Realms. A really good book. Mostly, if you look at this book, it's mostly a group of 5 standalone stories. Mostly all set up for War of the Realms, but also stuff that happens in Avengers, which is something really good Jason Aaron does. Though, I still disagree with the idea of Thor relationship with She-Hulk. This is a relationship that just basically there for simply Thor to have someone to sleep with. I mean, Thor has slept with random women over the years. I mean, why She-Hulk? This makes no freaking sense at all. I mean, prior to Jason Aaron taking over Avengers, there's been no hint of these two ever have a thing for each other. And now they do? Yes, this is a relationship that I still think makes no freaking sense. It's been in relationships comics now for 2 years, and yet Jason Aaron just had to put these two together because they're super strong. This is one relationship I kind of felt this though was completely unnecessary, but my guess is Jason Aaron just had to have this relationship because let's have Thor be in bed with a big woman. A big muscular woman. I mean, what's wrong with Ross Solomon? She may not be as big and muscular as She-Hulk, but she's still a beautiful woman and she's in love with Thor. Why? Because she's not a gamma-eating monster? Who knows? I would not be surprised though if Jason Aaron eventually has Thor and She-Hulk break up, but it all depends upon him. But I'm going to give Thor Volume 2, Road to War of the Realms, a 9 out of 10. It's a really good trade, but all of this is just standalone story. It's not really a complete story arc per se. It's just a lot to set up for War of the Realms. And I love the fact he had reference to the first arc for Avengers, which that's nice because Jason Aaron wrote it, and Infinity Wars. That one he did not write, but I like the fact they referenced it mainly because it was a recent event. So why not? It only happened 2 years ago. I think it happened also just prior to War of the Realms, so it makes perfect sense to reference it. Okay, so that's it for single review. My next review will probably come tomorrow, which review of the remaining episodes of One Piece, a Comic Corner, and the newest episode, Black Clover. Okay, to the next video. Bye.